Welcome back, fellas. College football playoff rankings just came out, didn't they?
Yep.
A few things we want to go over. I'm Taylor. That's Nick once again. What the committee looks for. I bring this up every week we go over this top 25.
Do your thing.
Conference championships. They look for conference championships. Nobody has a conference championship right now. 2, strength of schedule. 3, head-to-head competition. 4, comparative outcomes of common opponents. And the last one, miscellaneous factors. Right now we got number 1 Georgia, number 2 Alabama, number 3 Oregon, number 4 Ohio State. Nick, are you content with those top 4?
My top 4 is a little different. I've got number 1 Georgia, number 2 Oregon, number 3 Ohio State, number 4 Bama. And they all have their things that are a little bit different, but things that they do well at the same time. You know, Georgia has their really good defense. Oregon has the best win in all of football right now. Ohio State is peaking at the perfect time of the season. And, you know, they just beat the brakes off Purdue, who's got 2 top 5 wins against Iowa and Michigan State. And they routed them. It was 59-31, and they were dominant. You know, C.J. Stroud had like 350-some yards and 5 touchdowns. It was amazing. And Bama didn't play anybody. They played like New Mexico. But Bama might be the only team that can compete against Georgia. You know, I think Ohio State can, but they're going to have to play their best game of the year.
So would you say you have them in your top 4 because you think they're the best or what they've done?
I have them at number 4 because I think, you know, it's kind of hard to say. Bama is Alabama, and they have 1 loss.
And it's hard to look past that.
It is really hard to look past that. But at the same time, you know, they got a loss against the Texas A&M team is very average, I would say. But, yeah, you know, in the past, it speaks for itself. Bama has been a complete dynasty. And, you know, they got the recruiting classes and, you know, the talent level on that roster that I think they could go and compete against Georgia.
Okay, and then we got smoking a cigarette for the first time on this episode. I really don't care. Number 5, we got Cincinnati. They are 10-0. Cincinnati comes in at number 5. They got a good win on their resume. I don't care what anybody says. They got Notre Dame. They went in and beat Notre Dame. So,
right.
We got Michigan for some freaking reason at number 6, 9-1. Number 7, Michigan State. Number 8, Notre Dame. Number 9 is the Aggies from Oklahoma State. Number 9. Number 10, Wake Forest. Baylor comes in at 11. Ole Miss, 12. Oklahoma, number 13. Oklahoma dropped from 8 to 13, 5 spots after losing to Baylor 27-14.
And we kind of found out why we were number 8 in the committee size. You know, Baylor was the best team we played all year, and we kind of got handled in that game. Baylor could have won by more points than that. I know we missed 2 field goals in that game, but defense played a good first half. If, you know, Baylor goes and scores on that first possession, maybe the game's a little bit different.
Yeah. 14 BYU, 15 Wisconsin. I'm reading this from my phone because I don't know them off the top of my head. Give me a break. 16 A&M, Texas A&M. 17 Iowa, 18 Pitt, 19 San Diego State University. SDSU, right? Is that who that is? Okay, whatever. Number 20, NC State. 21, Arkansas. 22, UTSA, 10-0. They haven't played anybody, but they're 10-0. Utah, 7-3. They're at 23. Houston, 24. And Mississippi State at 6-4 in the top 25. Wow.
Ridiculous. It's that SEC label, but I'm just going to kind of go over my top 10. I'm not going to get too in-depth on everybody else here, but for me, I got 6 and 7 switched around. Why put Michigan ahead of Michigan State when Michigan State won the head-to-head? Michigan State still has a game in Columbus against Ohio State in the Horseshoe, and they also have a home game against Penn State, who's also a quality team in the Big Ten. And then, obviously you still got that Michigan-Ohio State game. So Ohio State's got a rough schedule going ahead, but I do still think they're the team to beat in the Big Ten. Then after those two, I got number 8, Oklahoma State. And, they've been very impressive in this year's season.
They have been.
They beat Kansas State, they beat Baylor, they beat Texas. I guess that's not too impressive considering where Texas is at, but they were ranked when they played them. And they also beat TCU, who just beat Baylor the previous week. So Oklahoma State is putting together a really good season and making a good run at the Big 12 championship. At number 9, I got Notre Dame. Really the only win that they have is Wisconsin early in the year, and they routed them. I think it was about 41-13. And Baylor, I got them at number 10. I got them over Wake Forest because
Why not?
The difference is one win. And, Wake Forest.
It's okay. Keep going.
Wake Forest has a win over NC State, an extremely average team who's ranked in the top 25. And the other quality team that they played was North Carolina, and they lost by 3. Scoundrels.
Oh, man, it's okay. Okay. So, I'm going to ask you right now, like I asked you last week, number 1, Georgia, and number 4, Alabama in the Orange Bowl, and you got number 2, Oregon, number 3, Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you got out of Georgia and Alabama?
I think it'd be a hell of a game, but I got to take Georgia right now. They're playing better football. The most points they've given up this year is 17, and that was, this previous week against Tennessee. And it's crazy what they've put together, but Bama's still Alabama. Everybody knows that. And then Oregon, Ohio State.
That's really a toss-up.
I'm taking Ohio State in this rematch. They're just playing better football, and they're peaking at the right time.
Okay. Now, with that being said, Oklahoma is 0-4 in the playoff since the college football playoff came out. The college football playoff debuted in the 2014 college football season, so we've only had 6-7 years of the college football playoff. In that time, we made it 4 times. So, with Oklahoma sitting at 13, I'm going to say it is possible for Oklahoma to make the college football playoff. It is possible. Do I think they are deserving even if they rout the rest of their teams? No, I don't. Do I think it can still happen? Yeah, it can. It can still happen. Have we not lived through the last few years of Oklahoma making the playoff? It can still happen. Do I want them to? I really don't. And what I was telling you, I'm kind of glad that they got their loss out of the regular season so they don't go undefeated, go into the playoff, and just get routed by some team like Georgia.
Right, and that would be the story. It always has. In the offseason, it's Oklahoma can't win a playoff game.
Or a bowl game.
That was in the past as well, under the Bob Stoops era. But, I'm tired of that narrative that Oklahoma can't do it, But I'm content with making a New Year's Six bowl and competing in that, and hopefully.
But do you think that they could make the playoff still?
Do I think so? There would have to be a lot to happen. I'm going to say no, but there would have to be some insane chaos happening. And either way, I still think a 2-loss Bama team would get in over Oklahoma.
And I think they should.
Yeah.
Whatever.
If Bama were to lose in a close game against Georgia,
okay,
Bama will be in the discussion still.
Is there anything that just is eye-popping on this week of the top 25 that stands out to you above everything else, or is it kind of just... I mean, the top 7 is the same, I think.
Yeah. I guess the only thing I was kind of surprised was Baylor not making it into the top 10 there. You know, you beat an undefeated Oklahoma team that's ranked number 8. You know,
Beat them by 2 possessions.
Beat them by 2 possessions. So I thought they were deserving to be there. You know, they were 13 last week, and I think that should be enough.
Had Baylor in our top 10.
Yeah, I think that should be enough to get over Wake Forest, who really doesn't have the best resume. And really, I think Clemson could very easily go and beat Wake Forest, and I believe that's their next game.
They're coming back to life. Clemson is. They're coming back to life a little bit. Okay. The Big 12 race. Okay, we're going to move into a little bit of Big 12 talk, okay? The Big 12 race is down to 4 teams right now, okay? And that is Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Baylor, and Iowa State, okay?
Oklahoma State.
We'll get there. So out of that, what do you see coming from that at all? What do you see coming from that? So this coming week, we got Iowa State at Oklahoma. It's going to be on Fox, 11 a.m. kickoff.
Once again.
11 a.m. kickoff. Who does Oklahoma State have this week? Oklahoma State has Texas Tech.
Yeah.
They go to Texas Tech. And Baylor has Kansas State this weekend. So, how do you see that being played out?
You know, I think Iowa State is going to be a really tough matchup for Oklahoma. You know, my gut says we have to win both against Iowa State and Oklahoma State to get into the Big 12 championship. That's just what my gut's telling me. If Oklahoma State happens to win, and I'm assuming they will, and I'm going off Iowa State beating Kansas State. But it's going to be interesting. It's hard telling how this is going to be played out. We've said it multiple times on this podcast that Oklahoma's playing the hardest stretch of games they have all season. And the most important. These are the ones that matter. You got to go beat Iowa State. You have to beat them.
You know what? If Oklahoma can beat Iowa State this weekend, and then they go to Stillwater and they play Oklahoma State, and say like they beat Oklahoma State, dude, I don't know if they could do it again. 2 games in a row. I don't know if they can do it again. If they play Baylor again, I think they could beat Baylor, because I definitely think Oklahoma could have won last weekend against Baylor. I absolutely
think they could have.
Now, I can see them beating Baylor in the Big 12 championship, but I don't know if I could see them beating Oklahoma State a second week in a row.
Yeah, Oklahoma State already beat Baylor. They took care of business there. And OU's got so many problems. You know, every single year there's something. You know, last year it was the suspensions early on in the season. No biggie. We bounced back, had a great season from there on out. This year, you know, O-line is terrible. This is the worst O-line I've seen in years. And then defense still can't figure it out. You know, there are some high expectations going into the season, but they can't tackle anybody.
The defense did come to play last Saturday, but the defense can't do it all. They cannot do it all.
They played a good first half.
They did. They did.
But still, they can't tackle. That's the thing. That's what bothers me, and it's like I'm watching the same movie on repeat with Oklahoma. There's always
for the first time since 2011, I am scared to play Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
For the first year since 2011.
I could see that. And I haven't been this nervous to play Oklahoma State in years as well. You know, I'll get nervous, but it's not like, okay, this team.
Like your OU Texas 2021 nervous? Nick didn't think Oklahoma was going to beat Texas.
I didn't. But it's worse than that, honestly. I just know how good this Oklahoma State team is, and I see it. But once again, we're kind of getting past Iowa State because you got to win that game too.
Yeah. So is there anything you're looking forward to this weekend against Iowa State? It's going to be 11 a.m. kickoff once again in Oklahoma. Who knows if the crowd's going to be stagnant or not? They may be pumped up. Who knows what Oklahoma team's going to come out? Who knows if Oklahoma comes out and dominates and kicks the crap out of Iowa State? If they come out and kick the crap out of Iowa State.
I don't see it happening like that.
Where was that the week before? I don't see that either. I see a very stagnant win. A very sluggish win, honestly. And then this whole season has just been more stressful than fun.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
I think Oklahoma's a 4-point favorite.
See, that's about
4. They're a 4-point favorite.
Yeah. You know, on a prediction for this game, I would take probably OU by 3, like a 34-31 type of game, and the whole game's going to be tight. But, you know, in the past, Iowa State's ran that 3-3-5 defense, and it's going to throw us off. And I'm shaky about this week because, you know, Iowa State's lost some good games and close games. You know, every single loss has been, you know, one possession.
Besides
if
Iowa,
not
I think
10,
Iowa laid it to them.
Yeah, by 10 points. You know, and they were a number 2 team in this season. So they have lost to Iowa, Baylor, West Virginia, and Texas Tech. But Brock Purdy, still the quarterback, has been for the past 2 seasons, 3 seasons, including
this one. He
this
was there in 2019, wasn't he?
Yeah.
2019, 2020, 2021.
Yeah. And he's completing 73% of his passes. His previous seasons, he's been around 65-66 range. Breece Hall, absolute stud. Dude's from Wichita, Kansas, played for Northwest, one of the best 6A teams in Kansas. Xavier Hutchinson, just big, lengthy receiver, 6'3", 210 pounds, gave us fits last year. They do a really good job of getting their tight ends involved, and they're going to throw 50-50 balls up against the OU secondary. It happened a lot last year, but they're going to have to come to play. You know, all of their O-linemen came back this year. All of them.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So this game is man. It all matters. It all matters. You can't look past Iowa State. You can't be looking at Oklahoma State already. You know, it's a pound the football type of offense, and then hit you with the play action, get your tight ends involved. They're all big. They're all 6'6" to 6'7". They're crazy big. And then you know, just kind of mentioning the 50-50 balls, Xavier Hutchinson is the type to give us fits against, you know, we had fits against Texas, TCU, and even Texas Tech, those 50-50 ball type situations where the DB just gets outplayed. But it's going to be another tight ball game with this Iowa State team. So
do you think Oklahoma will win?
Got them by 3, 34-31. I'm an Oklahoma fan, right? That's the reason why.
You're picking Oklahoma?
I'm picking OU. I'm an OU fan. It's biased. I'll tell you that right now.
All right. Sounds good. We couldn't be joined by Emerson today. He's busy. He's doing his stuff, so he's obviously not up on the screen. We'll have Emerson back hopefully Sunday morning. He's a busy guy, just like all of us are here. So, Nick, do you have anything to wrap this up?
Got to take care of business. You have to against a good Iowa State team who's very capable of beating you. So we'll see how it plays out.
There we go. Well, fellas, Boomer Sooner, number 13 Oklahoma versus Iowa State, Saturday on Fox, 11 a.m. kickoff in Norman, Oklahoma. See you later, Boomer Sooner.